because one memory that sticks out, it was the final night of the show when we're in the bar afterwards, and your wonderful mother, she like dragged me to all your family, and I know this like a big family photo with just me with
Yeah.
a pint, like. Hi guys, welcome back to Interval Conversations. I'm so glad to be joined today by my good friend Katie Mae Ramsey. Now, me and Katie, we met about a year ago, over a year ago, when we did Kipps together over in Bradford. Now, I've seen her perform a few times and she is incredible. So, Katie, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. It's so lovely to see you after, what, nearly a year?
I
Nearly a year.
know, I can't believe it. I can't believe how quickly time's gone. It's crazy. It's flown by this past year.
No, because it's coming up a year since we did Kipps, the next couple of
It
weeks.
is. It is. Was it? It was February, or was it end of
Uh,
Jan? Wasn't it?
End of
Somewhere
January, yeah.
January. I can't believe that. It feels like yesterday. It's so crazy. I think the whole this year has just flown by because it's just been such a blur. And now I'm like, oh my god, as if that was a year ago. That feels like last week. It's
Like
crazy.
everything that's happened this year, I just can't keep up with it all. But
No, me neither. I
but
think everyone's like that as
yeah,
well.
but yeah. So we're just going to talk about how you got into theatre and your education and stuff. But first of all, how did you get involved in this wonderful industry? Where did it all begin?
Gosh, right. I think this is kind of the same for many people. Is you start out at a very young age, going to your dance classes, and it's never anything serious. It's always just a little time killer up until you're about 10 or 11, and then it's kind of something I stuck with. I know definitely in high school, not in high school, and even in primary school, we did shows every year. Um, and I'd always audition for it. And I did play a couple of leading roles in it. I think I was in, oh God, I can't even remember, year 3 or 4, probably year 4. So I'll have been like, I don't know what age that is, playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And then I think I played Dory in Nemo, Fiona in Shrek. So it was kind of, I think at that time it was like, oh, she enjoys doing this. And then I went to high school and I started a lot more in depth. I did more regular dance classes, started doing dance competitions, dance exams, and then I kind of started really enjoying it. I went to Scala, which I don't know if you've heard of Scala Kids, and that was something that I absolutely loved. It was kind of like a bit of an agency kind of thing. We did a show every single year as well, and then yeah, I just started with taking it a little bit more seriously and really enjoying it. I think I started Performance Academy at the age of probably 12 or 13. And then I think doing it more regularly and it was kind of filling up all my free time. That's when I really started to think, actually, this is something that is great. Like I really enjoy this. This isn't just like a bit of a joke anymore. And yeah, that's kind of how it all came about, really.
Yeah, could you tell us about some of the shows you've done? Because obviously I know you through Kipps, and I saw a few years before in Annie, and like a few little concerts Buttershaw did. But could you tell us about some of the shows you've done over the years?
Yeah, so I'd say the first big show that I ever did was with Leeds Amateur Operatic Dramatic Society, I think. Laos, you've probably heard of it.
Yeah.
And I did The Sound of Music when I was, God, how old was I? 10, maybe? And I played, God, I can't even remember the name, but Marta, I played one of the Van Trapp children. And I remember that's the first time that I'd ever performed on a big stage. It was at Leeds Grand as well, which is a
And
big,
I am very jealous of that. Leeds
it was a
Grand.
very, it was a big step for your first big show. And that's where I met Anne Tonks.
Yeah.
And then so then she stayed in contact with us. And then from that, I auditioned for Annie and played Annie at St George's Hall with Buttershaw, and then we kind of obviously stayed in the loop with Buttershaw. I did the shows every year after that. I think it was South Pacific, and I played the child in the daughter in South Pacific. Then the King and I played one of the princesses, and then God, what was after that? Fiddler on the Roof, I think. Fiddler on the Roof, I played one of his daughters, and then I just kind of stayed with Buttershaw. I did a couple of the junior shows as well, and yeah, it was so much fun. And then I think I did Hello Dolly after that, and then I had a year out because of my GCSEs, and then Kipps. I'm pretty sure. And then I've done a couple of other things outside of Buttershaw. I've done obviously Performance Academy performances, and it's all very showcases. So you do like different musicals in one show, and
Yeah.
I've been honoured to sing a couple of solos here and there. And yeah, also the pantomimes in Wakefield, which has been a big blessing because it's working with professional casts. And yeah, I did about 40 shows every Christmas in that, and that was mad having the time out of school. But yeah, it's all a lot of fun, and it's all built me to where I am today, I think.
Pantomimes are always a killer, I find. Doing 40, sometimes 2 shows a day. Get to the second show, I'm like, have I done this joke before? I'm sure I have.
Yeah, honestly, it is crazy. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any personal highlights from shows over the years? Like something that stuck out to you?
I think definitely. I think I always love performing, and I think I'd be stupid to say that there was nothing that was pushed back if you say that. But I think definitely, I think obviously Annie is something, it's one of them shows where you can say if you've played Annie as a kid, like that's crazy. Every little girl dreams to play Annie. It's one of them roles. So I think definitely Annie. It also kind of built it started out my journey with Buttershaw, which then I progressed to do a lot more shows with them. And I wouldn't have known of Buttershaw if I didn't do Sound of Music with Anne. So I think everything I've done has brought me to where I am now. Like if I didn't go to this place, I wouldn't have known these people, and I wouldn't have known these people. So I think the highlight for me overall is just I'm not living with any regrets of doing anything. Like I think I know that everything has built me to where I am today, and I think that's the highlight for me, just knowing that everything I've done has meant so much to me. But yeah, I definitely have to say Annie. Probably have to say Kipps last year, definitely, because it was in a strange time. It was me starting college and finding my feet and stuff, and that definitely gave me a lot of reassurance, like yeah, this is what I want to do. And I think it also, if I didn't have Kipps, like throughout the lockdown as well, I think it's easy for anyone to kind of question what the hell they're doing, and I think Kipps kind of helped me through that a little bit to think, yeah, actually I did that show 2 months ago and it was incredible, and this is what I want to do, so I shouldn't be questioning anything, kind of thing.
Because it was a weird time when we did Kipps, because at that time, like literally just last January, like the pandemic was like just, oh, it's abroad, it's a small thing, it's kicking up, and we were making jokes about it, but 2 months later we're in lockdown
and everything's mad.
I want to ask about Kipps as well, because obviously we were I was Kipps and you were Anne, but we didn't really spend that much time together throughout rehearsals or on stage, even like just the highlighted scenes. So it was just weird because obviously I had more scenes with Sophie on that, and there were so many funny moments throughout the show and obviously backstage, but I never got to see that, and in rehearsals as well. So do you have any like highlights from Kipps as well, like backstage antics? Because I'm learning now, because I never got to go backstage.
No, you were literally, you were never backstage. You were on stage 24/7. I think definitely getting to meet a lot of new people. I always used to think about Butter Show. I was like, it's a lot of the same faces every year, which kind of made it feel like a family. And every time, and especially I'd had a year out, so it was lovely to see people again that I'd grown up with in a way. I was there when I was doing Annie like 4 nights a week, and in Bradford I was seeing those people more than my own family sometimes. And it's nice, it always felt like a family doing the shows with them. So I think getting to return and see all the people again, but also meeting new people as well that I'd never met you before, never met Sophie, I'd never met so many people. Like there were a lot of new faces in the main cast, you know, the characters. There was a lot new faces, that some people that I hadn't seen in years, since Annie maybe, but some people that I just never met. And I think that was a highlight for me. I think always getting to work with new people is always great, and obviously with your training and with Sophie's training, and it's nice to hear about things like that, especially as someone going into the industry. And I think as well, a backstage kind of thing, I think it's really nice. I grew very close with Sophie, and it was lovely. I think it's probably because she was the closest to my age, because I was the youngest in the cast. But yeah, it was really lovely, and we all, I think there was 4 of us in a 3-person dressing room, so that was fun. There was a lot of things, a lot of craziness in that dressing room, a lot of time I dress up quickly, I'm running on like do this, do that, and it was a very fun week. I really enjoyed the week. I think just the little things like that, just the laughs that we had, they're my highlights.
Because when I had Sophie on this podcast back in season 1 earlier last year, I apologized to her, because I'll apologize to you now. I felt so sorry for you and Sophie having to hug and kiss me throughout that show. 'Cause I was just dripping with sweat, especially when it got to you at the end as well. I was like, oh, I'm just like Lee Evans, just.
You've been working hard. You've been working hard through that show. I can't believe you did that. How many shows did we do? 7 or 8? I don't know if that's right.
Something like that.
I can't believe. Yeah, I mean, even in the rehearsals, you put absolutely everything into it, and then you got through that week, and I was like, and you had did you have like an abscess or something?
I had a dental abscess about 5 days before the show. So I had to go into emergency surgery to get it drained. Then a few days before we did the after show party, I had the tooth removed by one of the cast, Megan, one of the cast members. She managed to get me in. So someone I was on stage with was just like, come on.
Oh God, no, I remember that. I remember getting like all the text messages, and I was like, oh my God, this is not what needs to happen right now. But I can't believe you did that with an abscess anyway, because you were amazing in that show, to have that energy and keep. I mean, to be honest, I think your character, unlike other characters in shows, your character carried not carried the show as such, but like literally did. Once you were on, the chorus were singing about you, and it was kind of all about your character, and you were kind of driving everyone else through the show. So it's a lot. It's very great that you did that.
It was a lot. So we had a few other societies come to see the show who were meant to do the show, but unfortunately they got cancelled. So more or less every night when I was doing the rounds in the bar, just say, "Oh, hi, how did you enjoy the show?" I was doing Q&As with them. It's like, "Oh, what advice do you have?" I was like, "Get fit, learn everything, learn the banjo, learn that bloody banjo."
Oh God, have you learned any more of it?
No, I know the beginning bit, what I played on stage, before I looked to the orchestra and went, now. Oh, but I do miss that, because obviously we were meant to do it in Bridlington. Bridlington, yeah. Bridlington, yeah.
Was it Nerdo? We were supposed to do it at Nerdo, yeah.
No, yeah. Just the hour-long version that we kept cutting down.
Yeah, that was something funny as well. I think, we'd finished that show and it was all very like, not the sigh of relief, but like we did it. Like
Yeah.
that kind of feeling. We did it. And then a week later, we were back in the rehearsal
Yeah.
space doing it. And I was like, what's going on? And it was like, I was like, what? What's going on? And it was nice to kind of do that. But then obviously it ended so abruptly and we couldn't carry it on. So,
But
yeah.
trust me, it was a sigh of relief for me as soon as the curtains closed. I was just like, relax, get a pint.
Thank God, yeah.
I can properly drink now. I've done it.
Relax. Yeah.
Because one memory that sticks out, it was the final night of the show when we're in the bar afterwards. And your wonderful mother, she like dragged me to all your family. And I know this like a big family photo with just me with
Yeah.
a pint like,
Somewhere. I don't know where that is, but it'll be somewhere and it's great, probably.
She's like, oh, come talk to the family. Come to, oh. I was just like, oh, I just want a drink.
All the family came that night on the last night. Kind of how it goes, I think. I think there was about 40 people from my family in that audience.
Well, a minute. Well, they took up the first 2 rows, didn't they? More or less.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we'll catch up more on Kipps in a bit. But one thing you've done as well, you do princess party, or did princess parties pre-COVID. Could you tell us about that? How you got involved with that?
Yeah, definitely. So I've always kind of loved the element of obviously entertaining people, and it was always something that I'd never really looked into. And it's actually my cousin that started this venture, and she did it for about a year and a half, and then she came to me one day and she was like, would you fancy it, because I know obviously you're going into performing, this is something that you could potentially do in the future, and it would look, it would look great on your CV, and to say that you've done something like this, it's definitely great work experience. So I kept really open-minded and I started it during my GCSEs. And I did my first one with her and it was brilliant, and I was Cinderella and it was great. And after a couple more, she was like, okay, you can start doing them by yourself. And I basically now dress up as any Disney character that she throws on me, and I go to a house, used to, or a location or a venue or whatever, and I entertain children, and it's literally as you would imagine it, a little child's party. So excited, they can't believe that Ariel is in their house, and you're entertaining them sometimes for 2 hours straight by yourself, which you think it would sound like absolute mayhem, and honest to God, it's absolutely lovely. It's so rewarding. It's really nice. I come away and I'm like, that was something really lovely. Like that's something they'll always have in their memories. And yeah, I do. It's princess parties. There's also house visits that I've done, especially around Halloween when things were kind of okay with COVID. I think we were about to go into another lockdown, but I did a doorstep visit with a pumpkin. So I think we definitely adapted. I've done a few video messages. And yeah, it's really lovely. It's nice to do on the side a little bit. It's not a full-time, part-time job. It's kind of when it comes, it happens, and I can do it. And yeah, it's really, really lovely.
Because how do you prepare for parties like that? Because obviously the kids will ask you loads of questions. You have to keep them entertained. How do you prepare for that?
Well, I mean, my cousin obviously she runs a business, so she sends me a whole brief of what's going to happen, this, that. She also says to me, you know what, make it your own as well. Don't feel like you have to do this at a certain time. She went, just do what feels right at the time, because a child could turn around, a child could be so scared of you and not want to sit with you, so you've got to find another way to kind of entertain them. That's always the scary part, because you never know how the child will react, or the child might cling on to you and never let go. And it's something that in a way you can't really prepare yourself for. You've just got to go in with an open mind, just think this is going to go how it's going to go. At the end of the day, if they ask you a question that you don't know how you're going to answer, it's kind of the thing where you say what you think. In a way, you can't really educate yourself on. I mean, you can do as much as watching the Disney film, which I've seen millions of times as a kid, but it's what feels right in the moment. Like they ask you how you're going to get home, and it kind of, you're like, this way, and it just comes to mind straight away. And it's kind of just like that, not making it up on the spot, but more or less saying what comes out almost. And yeah, I also sing for them, so always got a warm up in there before. But yeah, I think just keeping a really open mind and just having fun, that's
Yeah.
the main part of it.
Yeah. Because one thing that sort of goes hand in hand, like with the parties and theatre as well, are mishaps. So like stuff
Mhm.
that goes wrong. That do you have any
Oh,
mishaps from over the years?
you could say that, yeah. Off the top of my head, honestly, I couldn't think of one specific moment. I mean, I definitely have to say there's probably a time where either my mind's just gone completely blank on stage, and I think everyone can say it, I'm sure you can say it as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And it's one of them things where, once again, you just say what comes out. I don't know how it happens, but your body just reacts in such a strange way, and you just do what feels right in the time. I think a couple of times, I think I'm not saying this now to call anyone out. I think I was in Annie, and I remember this specifically. And there was a scene, and I cannot remember what it was, so I could not give you much details. And I think there was quite a few other people on the stage, and I was 11, and somebody forgot a line, and I think I just started saying their lines, but as Annie. And I think I started fully saying a full speech because I'd done this scene so many times.
Yeah.
I was 11, by the way, and I could not do this now. And I just said this whole speech. I can't remember if it's that in particular, but I started like saying someone's lines, and I was like, what am I doing? In my brain, I was like, this is kind of working, kind of not. But yeah, I think I couldn't do it now. I'm saying, and I don't know how I did it when I was 11. I think I was a lot better at remembering lines when I was younger than I am now, definitely, which is really strange. But I think that will always stay with me, just being able to make things up on the spot. I don't know how it happened. I think, yeah, I think I do remember one actually, in Hello Dolly a couple of years ago. It's really minor. I think I was having to run up some stairs backstage to come on like quite high up to run back down the stairs in a big dress, and I missed the cue, and it was silent on stage, and I was like, what's going on? And then Aidan, I don't know if you know Aidan, he was doing the Buttershaw shows, he was playing the other guy in the show, and he was like, go. And I don't know what happened. I was like, what are you on about? I was like, I'm not going yet. And I just completely missed it. And then I just ran on. I think there was like a 15-second break where nobody was speaking, and they were waiting for me to make my entrance. And no one could tell me either, because I was up these tiny stairs. But yeah, I think costumes definitely a big mishaps. I remember in Panto, my foot got caught. I was doing Aladdin, my foot got caught in the big balloon pants that we had on, running downstairs for the bows. It's just the littlest things sometimes that are out of your control that are the best mishaps.
Oh yeah. Like I've got loads from over there. Some from Kipps as well. When you're working when you're working on stage with Phil, you know there's going to be mishaps.
Yeah. Gotta love him for it.
Oh yeah. But so moving on from that, you are a member of Kappa, and you've been since January last year, as you said, starting out around Kipps time.
Mhm.
Could you tell us about Kappa? How did that come about?
Well, Kappa came about in a really strange way. I always try and think about this, and then I'm like, there was a few things that contributed to going to Kappa. A lot of my friends who previously been at Kappa, they're in university now. They were studying there. One of my best friends, she was going to the juniors high school version. Kappa was kind of like the sixth form at the time. It's not anymore. It was a big drama, but whatever. But yeah, she was going to like the juniors, the high school, and I knew her from Performance Academy, and she was telling me about it all the time. And then I looked into it a little bit more, went to the open days. A lot of my friends were telling me, like, you need to go here. If this is what you want to do, this is the best place to go for this. In my area, obviously, that was, it's a great thing. It's free. It's getting A levels, and it's like non-stop training. It's like university training, but for free. It's crazy. It blows my mind. But yeah, I went to the open day, I did an audition, and then it kind of just stayed with me. I never really thought that, oh, this is my A levels, this is what I'm now going to be doing in the future. It was all very kind of, it felt right at the time. And I didn't think once about, oh, I'll go do English A level, I'll do a maths A level. It was always just, I kind of knew it felt so right for me. And then I started Kappa, and it's incredible, and the people are incredible, and I'm very lucky to be there. And yeah, it's brilliant.
'Cause what has it been like being educated throughout this pandemic as well? Because times I've messaged you, seeing how you're doing. You say, "Oh yeah, we're doing virtual learning stuff." Obviously, for a big performing arts academy, what's it been like remote learning?
It's been, you know what, it's been great. And I think my college, I'm very lucky to go to a college which is very hands-on. I mean, I think I'm probably the only person that I went to high school with that is in full-time education, doing 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I think a lot of my friends are in college 2 hours for one day, or 2 hours for 2 days a week, and I am there 8:30 till 4:30 prior to the pandemic. So it didn't change when we went into lockdown. It was 2 weeks after Move It was cancelled. I don't know if you've heard of Move It. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
a convention in London, and I was due to perform in a showcase piece, Adam's Family, and that got cancelled the night before, and that's when I kind of knew. And I was in London at the time, so I had a great weekend in London when there was a pandemic going on, which you wouldn't believe that a week later we were in a lockdown. But yeah, I think as soon as we saw that was cancelled, I thought, this ain't going to be going well. And straight, I mean, we finished on the Friday. We finished college on the Friday. They said we're going to start remote for a couple of weeks, just what the government are going to be saying. And on the Monday, 9 o'clock, everyone was on the call, starting learning. And I think it literally, I think I'm really lucky to go to a place that had everything organised so quickly. Everyone is so on it at the college and knows what they're doing. And it's great is learning virtually. I mean, obviously I was doing a lot of theory at the start, and I did a couple of dance lessons a week. We do a core workout every single morning for an hour, and we were doing that still, and I was doing it in my living room. And it's not the easiest. Sometimes you kick a sofa, or you get shin splints from dancing on like a concrete floor, but it's the best it's going to get. And we did that, and then I started going back in the summer, and then I went in back in September, did a few days online, and then went in through the second lockdown, November. And everything was kind of like, you know what, COVID, it's kind of on its way out now. Like, we probably will have to do this again. And then obviously cases back up, and we're back online. And I think none of us ever expected it. We never thought this will carry on in our second year. We have missed a lot of in-person learning, which is a real shame, because like I say, it's brilliant being online and getting that training that a lot of people are missing out on. But at the same time, it doesn't, nothing beats being in person and having that energy around you to keep you going in a workout or in a dance class, and wooing each other and cheering for everyone. So I think it's been a bit of a struggle in that sense, but at the same time, I'll log on in the morning and I'm straight in lessons and focused. And yeah, I think they've done absolutely amazing to keep us all engaged and enjoying it.
because what was it like? Obviously, you mentioned you went back throughout the pandemic, like in
Mhm.
person. What what was it like going back to do these lessons after doing all this virtual stuff?
It was crazy. I think the biggest shock was seeing people. It felt strange to see, because I'd seen teachers like this on Zoom every single day, 8 hours a day, sat in my house, and then to see them in person, it's like, oh my god, you look like a different person. And it was so weird, 'cause it was only like 3 or 4 months, and it definitely makes you appreciate the time that you get in person. Definitely, that's one thing that this has taught me. It's made me appreciate the time that I have spent in the building, and to go back and to get to do even a dance class, do a theory class in person. It just felt so much, it's felt so much nicer than, my first year, because you really appreciated them times. So yeah, it was strange. And then it was obviously really gutting when we found out we'd be back in lockdown and not able to go in, because we'd gotten back in that space and all gotten used to it. We were in bubbles at college, and I had to self-isolate once when my friend got COVID. But other than that, it's a shame that I can't be back in, because I was in last month. It's crazy, but yeah, it makes you appreciate being around everyone.
So I just have one last question for you, Katie. What advice do you have for anyone wanting to get involved in theatre or dance?
Wow, this is a difficult one. I think if you know, this sounds very cliche. If you know that you are, this feels right. That's what I mean. Like, it felt really right for me, and it felt like I couldn't see my life any other way without this. It's definitely helped me as a person, as a performer, but mainly as a person, with confidence and meeting people and teamwork and everything like that, and discipline. And I think if you feel like this is something that you really, really want to do, why not? I think this last year has taught me that it's, you don't know what's around the corner, and to get to do something that you think will bring you that happiness and get you excited and get you motivated. I would definitely do it. It's challenging. It's challenging, and I think you can't not say that. But I think it's so rewarding at the same time when you do get the littlest thing, like you've nailed a dance, or you've been cast in a show, or you've performed for people and entertained them for one night. Every little thing is so rewarding, and it takes a lot of hard work, and it's challenging, and it definitely is. But I think it's so rewarding, and if you feel like you want to do it, why not? Why not do it?
That's been some brilliant advice. Katie, thank you so much for joining me today. It's so lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
Yep. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Interval Conversations.